Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today will be the Midweek Magic event. These occur every Tuesday and Wednesday. They're free events, get 2 random rewards and 1 cosmetic reward. And this week's event is really cool. I think a lot of players are going to be excited for this. It is literally Pioneer. We don't have all of the cards from Pioneer on Arena yet. We don't have cards from Battle for Zendikar, Khans of Tarkir, and Shadows over Innistrad, but this is the sets that would be legal in Pioneer. Anything that was printed in a standard set from Return to Ravnica forward that is available on Arena is legal in this format. So because it's only standard legal sets, you're not going to get any alchemy cards, you're not going to get any Modern Horizons cards or Historic Anthologies cards, or cards from the Strixhaven's signature spellbook thing. So yeah, this is as close as you can get to Pioneer on Arena. They have said for a while now that they are working on getting a non-rotating true-to-paper format on Arena, and this seems like them testing the waters in a midweek Magic event to see how well it would work to just throw Pioneer on Arena, even though we don't have all the cards for Pioneer yet. They're doing another one of these events April 12th. That's going to be all of the standard legal sets that are fully released on Arena. So it's going to be just Ixalan forward instead of Return to Ravnica forward. So that'll be another one where they're probably testing the waters to see which they would prefer to bring to Arena. But either way, it's definitely going to be a cool free event to test the waters for a potential Pioneer on Arena. Now, it's also March 22nd, 2022, so it is my 26th birthday and the 26th anniversary of Resident Evil. So to keep things super flavorful there, we're going to be playing a Zombies deck. That is not the edit deck button. That is... So this is a really basic list. This is very, very similar to multiple lists that I saw online for just historic zombies, because the deck list really doesn't change much. This deck doesn't really use many alchemy cards or historic horizons cards. This is a deck that's focused around mainly getting a Corpse Knight and Wayward Servant onto the board to drain your opponent life as your creatures enter the battlefield, or something like Champion of the Perished out, getting counters every time a zombie enters your board, and then just dumping out a lot of zombies. You can do that with cards like Lazotep Reaver, spitting out 2 zombies off of this one card. Cryptbreaker can dump out zombies by discarding cards, and then your biggest kind of combo piece to win the game really quickly with these enter the battlefield abilities is Return to the Ranks. This is 2 white and X to return X creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Every single creature in this deck costs 2 or less, so this is just 2 white and X, bring X creatures back to really flood the board super quickly, get a bunch of triggers out of Corpse Knight and Wayward Servant, do a bunch of damage to your opponent. You also have the Dark Salvations, which are really nice because these are at worst a 3 mana 2/2 that does -X/-X to an opposing creature, where X is the number of zombies you control. So Dark Salvation's really good, 3 mana for a 2/2 that comes with a removal spell, or 5 mana for 2 of them that come with a removal spell. And then we have just like 2 Liliana Untouched by Death, because she's kind of the zombie planeswalker. She's just a pretty decent card. We have multiple ways to mill ourselves. Stitcher Supplier and Undead Butler can mill ourselves, and then Undead Butler can bring back zombies from our graveyard to our hand. So having Liliana's +1 also mill ourselves, and then her -3 let us just recast a bunch of zombies from our grave is pretty nice. The mill, of course, working with our Return to the Ranks for our Undead Butler, and the recasting working with our Stitcher Supplier or Undead Butler. So she's quite a good card. She also gives us another little bit of removal there with the -2 ability, so pretty flexible planeswalker to have in here. And then for the lands, very, very basic mana base, 4 Godless Shrine, 4 Concealed Courtyard, 4 Bright Climb Pathway, Grime Climb, or Grim Climb Pathway. Just the very basic, just best Orzhov dual lands for a quick deck. That's why we're running Concealed Courtyard over the slow version of it. And then 1 of a Takenuma, and 1 of an Eiganjo, because we don't have anything that cares about having plains or swamps on the board specifically, so they're kind of just strictly better than a 4th plains or a 6th swamp. If we were running 2 copies, then there's a tiny, tiny chance that we could draw 2 copies of our legendary land and not be able to put both on the board. So just to make it so they're literally just strictly better than a plain, strictly better than a swamp, I'm just going to run 1 of each, keep it nice and simple there. So yeah, that's the deck. That's what I'll be playing today, and let's get into the gameplay. Here we are in round 1. Pretty big fan of this hand. I always love starting out with a Champion of the Parish. Don't love that we only have 1 black source, so I totally forgot about the pathway. Yeah, no, this hand is super sweet then. We've got our double black for Liliana at the ready for turn 4. Let's just do some zombie things here. Usher of the Fallen, turn 1 from our opponent. I don't want to trade Champion of the Parish into that. I also don't want to take the damage, but I don't want to play Stitcher Supplier before I play Champion of the Perished. But it might be worth it. We probably have to play a little bit more of a controlling role here if we are on the draw against, like, mono white aggro here. Especially with a Liliana in our hand, she's really going to let us take that role and run with it. So let's play defensively here. Fairy Guide Mother to get into the sky, that is an issue for sure. Their second black here and get an Undead Butler down. No attacks in case they have removal here. Just hoping they don't have another way to toss that Usher of the Fallen into the sky. Vryn Wingmare, make our non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. That's a really big deal because it's also flying. Just can't really deal with it. I guess we can channel in a Gonjo here. It's probably what we should do, not what she would do. Clarion Spirit into another card, get a 1/1 flyer. Oh yeah, this deck is sick. Selfless Savior to protect Vryn Wingmare here, so we only kill the Selfless Savior. I guess we can put an Undead Butler there. Maybe they'll sack Savior there. Nice. Okay, so we still get to pick up a card with Undead Butler, and now we know we get to kill this Vryn Wingmare. Pick up a Corpse Knight. That one doesn't gain us life, it only drains our opponent life, so it's not super useful. Kind of just want another champion here. Fortunately, a tapped Concealed Courtyard, so no Liliana this turn. We can go Champion Undead Butler, or Champion. Go Champion Undead Butler here. I'm down for just mucking up the board. We're only taking 1 in the sky each turn right now. Just that 1/1 flyer on the board. We can get rid of it with Liliana. What else have we milled now? Because we've got plenty to bring stuff back from grave. Still just Corpse Knight, double Crypt Breaker here. Another Selfless Savior from our opponent to protect that flyer. It's going to be an issue. And Kabira Takedown. That's a double spell, so they have 2 flyers. Very big issue. Double block Clarion Spirit here for sure. They kill Stitcher Supplier over Undead Butler. And then we just get rid of Selfless Savior here. Oh no sacrifice of the Savior. They're going to keep it to protect their flyers, which is fair enough. Let's see what we're getting here. Champion of the Parish back again. Down for that. Just our cheapest creatures. It's easier to go Liliana plus dump out a 1-drop. Something like that. Return to the ranks. If Liliana comes out right now, she's super dead. We can return to the ranks for 3 cards. We have 3 creatures in grave, so we just get those 3 out and take damage in the sky here. Yeah. Start doing some damage to our opponent. If you can't tell, as I tend to mention every time I play a Constructed video, the literal only times I play Constructed are in the videos that I record. I play Limited a tiny bit outside of videos, but if you've been watching my videos for a long time, you know I play a ton of Limited and basically 0 Constructed. I just go in blind. I'm like, let's find some kind of cool zombies deck for today for this Pioneer format. So I'm probably misplaying Hardcore. I probably should have returned to the ranks like a long time ago. Maybe tried to just outrace them with a bunch of life loss from Corpse Knight triggers. But we'll do what I can here, do what I know how to do. Alright, we're getting rid of a Selfless Savior here. Easy trade. We have tons of graveyard recursion, so we'll take every trade we get. We're down to 11. Still only halfway dead here, so not the end of the world. We could drop triple champion here. Drain some life with Corpse Knight. Or we play Liliana, kill one flyer, and then Liliana's a goner. We could play Liliana, plus her to lose 2 life. To gain 2 life and have our opponent lose 2. That actually might be okay, because she's 5 loyalty then. Should we 5 loyalty? Which means they can hit her down to 2 loyalty and we can still use her to get rid of 1 flyer next turn.
Useful to me alive.
And this way we're getting ready for a big return to the ranks to kind of go for a combo finish. I'd rather draw a card off Corpse Knight by tapping all 3 of my creatures or just send in for 2 here. I think I'd rather hold it back here. Potentially draw a card here. But yeah, now we have a Wayward Servant engraved, which is really big. That'll gain us life as our zombies enter the battlefield, so the next return to the ranks is going to be incredible. There's Ardenvale Tactician. Two, 3 flyer onto their board. Liliana's going to go down to 2 loyalty. Still enough to kill the Ardenvale Tactician. We're going to go ahead and draw a card here. Two, 1, 2. How many creatures in grave? 1, 2, 3. 3 creatures in grave. I can do it without tapping a creature if I pay 2 life for Godless Shrine here. I think I will. Get that Wayward Servant back, drain a bunch of life out of our opponent to gain a bunch. Goodbye, Liliana. She's going to die either way. Pop the Tactician. Now we got more than enough creatures on the ground to just start sending in. And trying to outrace here, which I think we can do. We take 3 a turn. If they keep attacking, they take more than that. Could have drawn a card there, but I think it's getting a bit risky. Another Ardenvale Tactician's pretty good, though. Quite a big blocker against our stuff. So what do we want to do here? 2, 3 out. I don't think we want to send in Wayward Servant. Let's just play a bunch of zombies. Drain them for life. Yeah, these triggered abilities on these zombies are just so good. I probably just shouldn't even have attacked with the Corpse Knight, and then they might have just been dead right now from Enter the Battlefield triggers. They're just ridiculous. Alright, and they scoop them up. Yeah, I was going to say, at that point I could just attack with everybody now, because even if they block the 2-2 there and kill it, they take 4 and go to 1, and then I just go wide next turn. Ridiculous abilities. Very much learning the deck as we go here, but it does some nonsense. Let's see what our first random rare is. Gonna be Boseiju Who Endures, a very useful one. Just an auto include in every single green deck, just 1 copy of that. I guess not every single one. Not in snow decks. In snow decks you have to consider whether you want a snow land higher than that, and in decks that have cards that specifically care about your land types like forest, which there are some decks like that. But definitely a very, very, very prominent card in green decks. Alright, so we're going to be on the play here with Champion of the Parish into Wayward Servant into Dark Salvations. So if our opponent's on a creature deck, they're going to have an incredibly annoying time, because we're just going to keep dropping Dark Salvations on turn 3 and never stop. If our opponent's on a control deck, we're going to have a pretty bad time, because 3 mana for a 2/2 is not a very good deal if we're not killing anything. So we'll see. See how things happen here. Well, let's get the ball rolling with our turn 1 Champion of the Parish. If we don't have any double black or double white cards in hand, I don't know if we're supposed to play this on black or white first, because Return to the Ranks is massive and that costs double white, but Liliana's pretty massive, she costs double black. I guess we have more Return to the Ranks than Liliana's. But we also have more black cards than white cards generally. Even if we have more double white cards than double black cards. So I don't know, I'm just going to play it on white for Return to the Ranks potentially, because we do have the Undead Butler drawn now. Lizard Blades coming on out, pretty cool. Let's just start doing our annoying anti-creature deck things. Get us a zombie. Kill their creature, attack for 5. They're down to 12. Alright, just attack everybody. I guess Undead Butler first would be 1 more damage. But I guess we were holding a Dark Salvation up in case they had a flash creature. But they're 1 mana off from like a Collected Company, so I doubt it. Collected Company's a brutally good card though, and that is legal in this format. Eska's Chariot. Looks like probably just like a Gruul standard deck here. The zombies shall overrun it here. Guess we technically missed lethal there. I miscounted. Thought we were good. Just pass turn here. Still lethal next turn. Discard this Takanuma to pick up the Wayward Servant, so we can just cast Wayward Servant on another creature next turn. Worst case scenario. Another Eska's Chariot. That's going to be 2 more blockers. Not enough blockers to survive unless they have a shock or a bolt in their hand for 1. Bolt is not legal in Pioneer though, so it'd just be shock. And they scoop them up. I guess it could be Flame Blessed Bolt, but not Lightning Bolt. So let's see what our second random rare is for this week's Midweek Magic event. It is going to be Ogre Head Helm. Definitely not as good as Boseiju, but when one of our rares is Boseiju, we can't really complain. Certainly an incredibly useful card. So round 3 here. If we win this one, it'll be the final round. Otherwise, still have as many rounds as we need to get the win. Turn 1, fancy Spirebluff Canal, so definitely not just bringing their... definitely not somebody just bringing their standard deck to this event here. Flame Blessed Bolt. So blue-red, they start with Flame Blessed Bolt off a Spirebluff Canal, and then Steam Vents to Dorat. So yeah, probably one of these Izzet Phoenix kind of decks. Pretty powerful deck in general. Let's drop a Corpse Knight, I think. And then we go for Dark Salvation next turn to kill Dorat. Would I rather play Undead Butler, because you're probably likely to kill it. Maybe rather play Undead Butler here, because it plays better against cheap burn, which these blue-red decks just run like at least 12 cheap burn spells, like 4 shock, 4 bolt, 4 something else, quite often. So there's Consider. Make Dorat bigger. Arclight Phoenix into the grave. This is going to be an issue. Izzet Phoenix is, I think, it's one of the strongest decks in Historic, and it doesn't really lose much moving to Pioneer. I guess it does lose the, not the Delvers, but the red version of Delver. I forget what it is. Exile Undead Butler to pick up an Undead Butler? Sure. But there's a mono red card. It's like a 1 mana 3/3 if you have Delirium. 1 mana 3/3 flyer. Yeah, this is really bad. I think we're just dead. I think we just got Phoenixed here. Probably just die next turn to Dorat. Give something -1/-1, which is nowhere near enough to kill. Play our ground dudes. Mill ourselves a bunch, so maybe we can get a big return to the ranks if we live another turn. If we could mill our card that drains life from our opponent, lets us gain life, and then we top deck a return to the ranks, maybe that would be an out. So we're just going to play the cards that mill us as much as possible, because I don't think making our opponent lose life here doesn't matter that much. It's really gaining life that's going to matter a ton for us, if we can do it. Oh dear, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not quite dead, we're down to 3. Triple Dark Salvation, we can only kill one of their cards though. We can't kill the 5/5, so that is gonna be game. Round 4 now. Got all our colors thanks to the pathway. Definite keep for me. We even can use Cryptbreaker to draw a card on turn 2 because we've got that Lazotep Reaver. It looks like such a just random common to run in this deck, but just getting 2 zombies off of the 1 card is a pretty big deal for a couple reasons. For enter the battlefield triggers like Wayward Servant and Corpse Knight, but also Cryptbreaker just wants us to have 3 zombies down. Dark Salvation wants us to have a lot of zombies down, so it's pretty nice. And we're going to be against a blue-white control deck here, and they're definitely playing a Pioneer deck. They're running Birth of Meliodas from Theros, which is rotated out of Standard. So we're going to have another fully Pioneer deck matchup here. Foretell a card here, probably Doomscar. I would imagine that's the most popular blue-white control card to foretell. So I don't want to go super wide on the board. I probably just don't want to play Wayward Servant or Corpse Knight. So 3 mana. It's the best I can do here that's not super committing to the board. I can't even really attack without doing something here. So maybe I do just Dark Salvation to go to the 0/4 and get swinging for an attack here, and that could prompt the Doomscar, get it out of the way so we can keep our Wayward Servant and Corpse Knight in the future. Probably would rather draw a card though than hit for 3. Just hit for 1. Yep, that's the Doomscar. As foretold. We'll draw another card, and we are still at parity. They have 6 cards in hand, we have 6 cards in hand, thanks to the power of Cryptbreaker. Get a Liliana down and just start jamming her abilities, or we could just reflood the board here. I think I want to just reflood the board so I can start attacking again. Hopefully no second Doomscar in hand here. They just go land Doomscar number 2. Glass Casket. Alright, that'll get rid of one of these. Get rid of the Wayward Servant because it gains life and drains them for life. So, this is the better one. Draw into another Wayward Servant? Sure. Probably a counterspell here. We drop Lazotep Reaver still at least. Yep, they're down to only 3 cards in hand though. We are going to hit them for 2 off of Enter the Battlefield triggers and 2 off the attack. They're down to 19. The Birth of Meliodas again. Drop a Stitcher Supplier and a Liliana here. Liliana probably gets countered. Definitely gets countered. They have an instant. We'll go to combat first. Maybe they'll throw an instant speed removal spell at us. Luckily, even if Liliana gets countered, we've got another one at least. Which is helpful. Alright, well, goodbye, Liliana. Get the counterspell out of the way so the second one resolves. No counterspell. Maybe some kind of draw spell then. Strange. Fill up our graveyard. Drain our opponent for 2. And if Liliana's still around next turn, we can -3 her and just cast a bunch of zombies from the grave. That'll be really good. We can cast Corpse Knight, Wayward Servant. That would be huge. Probably just lethal if we can still have Liliana around next turn. Alright, so the standard Teferi, definitely the weaker Teferi. I wonder if the 5-mana one from Dominaria is banned in this format. Probably not. And that would be a super sick card for these blue-white kind of control decks. They might be running both. They've got Shark Typhoon too. It's a really good control deck from our opponent. Alright, weaken Liliana. She's still just good enough to let us get all our life loss zombies out. So I think we are going to sacrifice Liliana to do that. Because that'll be absolutely massive. Ooh, but we draw Return to the Ranks here, so we can just try to do that instead. That gets countered more easily than casting all the creatures separately, but 5, 6, but we could bring back 6 things from grave with this one. We get greedy. They didn't have a counterspell last turn, or they definitely would have countered Liliana. So unless they top decked it here, because they only drew 1 card last turn. Yeah, unless they drew it just now. This should work. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. That's, I think, lethal. It's a lot of triggers. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh, what are we in? Streets of New Capenna? Why is the Tommy gun out here? Just... Wow, Wayward Servant, Corpse Knight, just having a party there. Yeah, Return to the Ranks is a super good card in these zombie decks. And for those wondering why it's legal in this format, it was printed in M15, which is Pioneer legal. However, I think Pioneer versions of the Black-White Zombies decks use Return to the Ranks instead because that is instant speed. However, this one does let you keep them forever. Return to the Ranks, you keep them until end of turn and then you exile them. But being instant speed is a really big deal in certain matchups, so I could see why Return to the Ranks is a popular option for Pioneer Zombies builds. But anyways, that's gonna be the 3rd win there. Let's see what we get for our random cosmetic reward. Fingers crossed, anything but a Parallax card style, but Parallax card styles are by far the most likely thing. Those are the 3D looking card styles. There's one for almost every card on Arena, so there's just a million of them. So let's see. It is a Parallax card style for Clawing Torment. I should have specified if it's going to be a Parallax card style, at least don't let it be for the current draft format, because that just means I'm going to have to go and edit my card styles every time I draft a Clawing Torment. Because I am not a fan of the 3D effects with the mirrored borders. This one's not that bad though. You can't really tell that it's mirrored because there's nothing super fancy going on the edges. But there's a lot of other ones where there's a body part or somebody's face on the edge, and then you see their face just mirrored, and you're like, what is going on there? What is that about? Anyways, that's going to end the Midweek Magic event. As always, I like to play these till we pick up all those rewards, whatever format it is, and this was a pretty cool format. The Pioneer format. Hopefully they are going to add this format or something else that is a non-rotating non-alchemy format onto Arena sometime soon, because I know a lot of players have been asking for that and really want that to happen. So again, while I don't play much Constructed, so I wouldn't really play much of this format, if they did add it, I still think it would be a net positive so that people have a non-rotating format. They don't have to keep up with all the alchemy cards to play. But yeah, that is going to end today's video. Lots of great things on the horizon as always. April 1st starts Dominaria Premier Drafts again. There's also Ravnica Mixer Sealeds around that time, and Streets of New Capenna's launch at the end of April. Lots of super great limited stuff on the horizon, and in the meantime, I'll be playing more Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, as well as Midweek Magics, or random fun events that they add. You know, I like to do the spicy new events as soon as I can. Get these videos out to you in a timely fashion. So with that whole spiel out of the way, thank you once again for watching, and I will see you all very soon for some more Magic Arena.